Welcome again, Salam. This is Isaac Mirori. Again, we are continuing from where we left some few hours ago, talking about the Sustainable Development Goals. Just to recap what we had gone through, we said that the Sustainable Development Goals have been categorized into five categories of engagement. And we said that from Sustainable Development Goal number 1 to 5 talks about people and talks about human rights and how we're supposed to respect everybody's dignity. The Sustainable Development Goal number 6 to number 14 and 16 talks about planet and how we've been plundering this planet of her resources enough to even make cause climate change, because it is out of human activity that climate change has been caused. We've been cutting trees, we've been mining resources, and we've been emitting a lot of carbon dioxide. And of course, we've been using energy that is fossil and so needs to be banned for it. It is cheap, but it has caused a lot of problems, and that's why people are talking about green energy transition today. The Sustainable Development number 7 to 11 talks about prosperity. Again, the earth has been pillaged, human rights have been violated for people to make wealth. Now we're saying that wealth is enough for each and every person who lives today. More than 7 billion people in this world have enough resources. The idea of reducing human population, the idea of sterilizing women without the consent, the idea of immunizing the developing countries' citizens on certain diseases, but the immunization has another hidden agenda of sterility and slow and ingredients that slow reproductive capacity is what we're saying. It is wrong and evil and not sustainable. We understand the West have already have made a lot of policies against their citizens, and they regulate how many children you can have, and so on and so forth. And this has driven the society to adopt cultures that are in line with such rules. And so we are saying even leaders, legislators, head of governments and states should not try to act as big brothers and control the freedom of human beings. But anyway, we're going to leave that to each country. But as Africans, we need to learn and learn from the West and how their experiences are like, and really do better. And so the Sustainable Development number 16 talks about peace, and peace in our organization, imunza.org, we define it as development, sustainable development. Without sustainable development, there is no opportunities. And without opportunities, everybody are not able to show their potential. And everybody is unique in a God-given way. And so we all need to have opportunities to showcase, and not to showcase to those who have already made it in life, but showcase in areas which can serve humanity, and serving each other is enough to make everybody earn a living. And so Sustainable Development number 17 talks about partnership. And while we talk about partnership, we are supposed to be cognizant of the fact that there were principles that were adopted in Istanbul. They are called the partnership engagement, the 8 Istanbul partnership engagement principles. And so we're going to look at that later. And this defines how partnerships are supposed to be undertaken. undertaken. Now we are going to talk about the principles, the UN principles of the Agenda 2030, which is the driving force of the Sustainable Development Goals. And the principle number one talks about every country should adopt the Sustainable Development Goals. You have a right to go and look for partners wherever. You can do bilateral, trilateral, and multilateral agreements with other countries that you share interest with. And so the second principle is universality, and this is done by everybody. This is not a creation of some strategies by some countries for some to some other countries or for some other countries, but we are all in this together. And so the third one is that nobody is going to be left behind. So it is not a question of competition that once you've done it, you've made it, you relax and you start pillaging the other. No, we are all working together. And so everybody has a responsibility over the other. The final principle is the integrated development. So the development here is not singled out. Every development have already been designed in a way that if you're doing roads, you will do roads that will lead to markets, and these markets are going to be done. So you just don't do roads. You do roads that will consider drainage, will consider the landscape. Like for example, you can plant trees. In Kenya, there is a law that was put forward by the Dagoretti South MP, KJ, my MP, that stipulates any road done, there must be trees. And for that matter, fruit trees grown along the roadsides. So it is sustainable. There is shade. It controls the weather. It reduces the overheating, and then it provides food. It pulls rain. It breaks wind, and so if it leads to a school has to be developed. So it is an integrated development agenda. So those are the 4 UN principles of Agenda 2030, in line with our Kenyan Vision 2030 as well. And so I'd like to probably touch on the last principle. It touches on environment, it touches on social and economy. And that's why I talked about school and trees and roads and drainage. So that is the integrated development. Now, I've been talking about sustainable development goals, and probably people are asking, what are these goals? So goal number one, goal number one is no hunger. Goal number two, no poverty. So it fights poverty. Goal number 2 is no hunger. Nobody should die of hunger. And that's why Kenya is really trying her best to make sure that they are importing GMOs to feed the people who are hunger stricken. In terms of poverty, the new government has brought in Hustler Fund. It is not sustainable, but they're saying it is a step towards the great dream. And so goal number 3 is good health. That's why, and well-being. That's why there's a concern on, since the previous government, of universal health coverage. Goal number 2 is equal education. That's why there is a policy in Kenya of 100% transition from class 8 to secondary, and from secondary to tertiary education. Goal number 5 talks about gender equality, and that's why it is very sensitive. Whenever we do election, there is female or women representative and youth representative. Goal number 6 talks about water and sanitation. Very important. We are doing a big project of bringing water from Murang'a to Nairobi, and we are doing a lot of dams. And so goal number 7 is affordable and clean energy. That's why we are moving to liquid gas. We are moving to solars, We are moving to green energy and reducing the usage of fossil fuel. Goal number 8 is decent work. That's why governments have policies of how to get people into employment, because this brings economic growth. So it is decent work and economic growth. Goal number 9 is about industry and innovation and infrastructure. So all these go together. Goal number 10 is reduction of inequalities. Okay, so inequalities between men and women, inequalities between races, inequalities between countries, inequalities across board. Goal number 11 is sustainable cities, cities that do not encourage a lot of consumption. Goal number 12 talks about how to be responsible, how to, in terms of what you're taking. So we are advised not to take food that is imported, processed food. We take natural food that is local. Production, so we can boost local production and we can eat healthy. Goal, you can see the integration of all these goals. Goal number 13 is climate action. Everybody knows about climate change, and so we are having a lot of news about how to take steps towards mitigating and adopting the new life, and also being responsible. Goal number 14 talks about life on water. You have heard about the blue economy, that is supposed to be sustainable, protect fish, reduce the plastic waste and other waste on sea. And of course, goal number 15 talks about life on land. We have a lot of tree growing projects. We have a lot of cleanups and so on and so forth. So we have goal number 16 that talks about peace, justice, and a strong institution. We know that we've been having strong personalities as leaders, and they are not leaders, they used to be rulers, and or they are. Now we are talking about institutions being strong so that they can be able to protect the interest of the many. An individual can only protect the interest of those who are around him, including his family members or her family members. Goal number 17 talks about partnership. And so this partnership should observe the 8 principles of Istanbul, principles of engagement and partnership. So thank you so much for listening to me. Remember to subscribe, to like, and also to go to the comment section. All through our social media, the YouTube channel is Isaac Miruri Imunza, as well as all the social media platforms. And so I'll see you in a few minutes after this commercial break. Thank you so much.